Hello everyone, this is Espert, and we're back here on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Hello everyone, hello. I just love how the background keeps changing. Now we're at the hospital. They didn't change for so long, but it's like, just like this chapter I think it is. It's been changing, mainly. Hello Word Machine! Great to have you on the stream. How are you doing? Did you get your supper in and rest up a bit after your stream? Alright, we're starting, I believe, the trial today. When I woke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. And so began the even longer day than the last, one that I would remember for the rest of my days. You did eat, you're laying in bed though. Well, hopefully you get a nice rest and you can relax. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. She's gonna give me the cold shoulder. So where's your friend then? My little maid your entire night? That's great. That was fun. He had a blast. He was over here just having a great time. He loves anything Plants vs. Zombies, and he was having a blast getting to write and talk to you. He had a great time. He was asking me to pause it at the whenever we were saying bye. I'm like, no, she's getting off too. It's okay. We can go to bed. We'll catch it another time. He was very, very interested in watching it to continue it later. So where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, her in the fancy dress. Susato, or however you say it. I don't know. Ah, Miss Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are ya? You're glad he's welcome to come back whenever he wants. Good. He enjoyed it. He has seen the Giga Gargantuas on some other streams, but he has not seen it on his own. And so he got excited seeing you have to go against all those. He does not have the that survival up. We looked, and I think he's beat one or two of the survivals, but he has only like the top row open. He still doesn't have the bottom row or that final one that you did do. So he liked watching one that he hadn't played yet. Those were the worst. That was pretty crazy and insane. He got to laughing by how many there was. Forget me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Susato and I won't meet again. One day. Even so. But you, Gina. You only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two. How are you feeling, Jenny? Did you manage to sleep? Meow. Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend's in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Waggy? Great way to show your support, kitty. Aw, kitty, yeah, it's cute. Let him have a nose around. What arm can it do? Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What'd you say, Runo? Ginny? Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Nah, I always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh? The bad news was a weather report? So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover, and that the train isn't delayed on its way to the port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make it up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give you a monkey's, really. If only all good news canceled out the bad. And look, this trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in pickup purse plunder. See? How you like that? Well, how'd you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I care. I can't because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Bruno will show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will? And then in tomorrow's papers, headlines will be Discharged driver and dauntless do-gooder. Is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Bruno? Oh, yes? Let's hope so. Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How about that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's like she was still here. Alright, so we got the paper, which I guess will end up being important later. Good luck then, Bruno. I'll do what I can. Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. Oh no, she's my stand-in. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest, but... Thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris? Yes, Jenny? Well, I was wondering, is all about Sholmes. Did they fix them up alright? Yes. The operation was a great success. But Hurley still hasn't come around yet, which is not true. At the end of the last chapter, we saw him and Susato actually talking, like in the middle of the night. So he is up and around, but for some reason he's not. We don't know that yet. Hydrate, 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 hydrate. Yeah, hydrates in. Get some stretches too. Okay. Get me all stretched out and ready for a trial. Okay. Thank you, thank you. You're gonna go to sleep, so you're game now. That works. So, you get some good rest, and hopefully I'll catch you on a new stream here soon. Thank you so much for stopping in also. I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. You have a great night too. You have a great, great, great one. Thank you. Oh, right. No, Susato-san, and no, Mr. Sholmes. All down to me today to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense, the trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. Time then. Yes, let's go, Gina. Iris? Lead the way, Bruno. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that... Well, just cut us off there, I guess. I guess that wasn't the end of the sentence was probably about. That's what we learned from him of the trusting. Who we got here for our group this time? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Van Zieks is prosecuting again. Prosecution is ready. The defense is ready. Lord Van Zieks. My lord. Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service? It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? And what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerning with the highest echelons of society and government. Really? Yet today, you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder? I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, Counsel. There are 2 types of persons I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large. He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yep, she's in the booth beside me. Yes, I just about managed to work that out, thank you. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I would never have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confident tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese. He specifically wants to go against me. What? Did he really just say that? He means you now, Runo. I actually managed to work that out too. Thank you, Iris. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Zieks' eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about the all Japanese people? An alarming, scathing explanation, Lord Van Zieks. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper the Bailey, feared by all London malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. She's back. He's back. She's back. This is that guy that they've been trying to catch. What's his name again? I can't remember, but he was like not good terrorist. You're new. Of course we know you. You stood in for your wife once. I'm wondering what happened to that guy that was very different and interesting, that was staying also at his house, that had the other room besides our one friend. Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant? Former lieutenant in the British Army here, don't you know? Chaps like me were born ready. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Who are you? Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely everything, and I'm ready for it. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. Not possible, but could I have? Dude. Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future away. Stop. Use a typewriting before. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Central Crystal Tower, please. Is something wrong, Bruno? Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. Who's the blonde-headed one? Do we know him yet? Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it is quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know. So I've been led to believe, but something tells me I'm being duped. Very well. Now, Lord Van Zieks, the court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Windybank, proprietor of the pawn shop at Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents the photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. What's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say. Oh. The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. Autopsy report has been entered into the court record. Crime scene photo also entered. Now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment. Oh, excuse me, where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. In a windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. In the sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windybank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. Is that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drabs that live in the slums in the East End. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the juries waiting for? The girl's guilty. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive. Gonna break it? He's gonna drink that one. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Good gracious. After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pick-purse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. The court will take the floor plan and firearm and evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zieks. At once, my lord. Okay. Getting more info. Gina was holding it when she found unconscious. This isn't good. I feel like the mood in here turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Bruno. I think that's because it has. Let us begin. Bring forth the witness to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windybank on 16th April this year. You are the 2 that shot him. You look like crooks to begin with. You shot Sherlock. Witnesses, state your name and occupations for the court. Name's Nash Skulkins. Occupation is her baddie? Professional baddie? Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation, same as him. Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right, we're what they call the Three Scullin Brothers. What are you looking at me for like that? Don't let me in with you lot. God blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through? It's our older brother lost contact with him we have, so we're scouring every shade quarter of the capital. And then last night we come across you, the very spitting of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? Yes, Nash, he is, the very spitting of him. So we decided there, and then what we was gonna do, we was gonna call you Big Brother Skulky. Come on, leave it out, you two. Skulky Skulkin? And that's before he's run out of chips? Other Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you are doing in the witness stand. The Sulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, a suspicion of theft. Thieves, are they? These three? No, my lord. Begging your pardon, but please don't let me in with this lot. 2 nights ago, these 2 brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of the nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, you mean to say that extraordinary coincidence? Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbroker, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. He's got a box. Order, order! The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the calibre of these witnesses, I'll permit them to take the stand. Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw. Apatu. Because Skulkin's never skulking. Get out of it. Magic friction chips, dude. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours. On the gaffin door was ajar, see? It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was. But once we got inside, go blimey loom, we heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. She left after that nice and quiet. No, because one of you shot Holmes. Terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. Within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witness now, of course, counsel, if you please. Counsel. Yes. What's the matter, Bruno? Sorry. I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by the pair in the stand. I know that's all nonsense, but I saw it with my own eyes. I just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. Okay. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the gas door is ajar, see?
Hold it!
The front door of the Windy Banks was ajar, you say? What time of night was this? Must have been about 1, right, Ringo? Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Sulky? How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town. Well, it was pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo? I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky, me old mucker? Leave me alone. Definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. And then these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment. And the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim. That is pure conjecture. Perhaps. But it changed nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside. Right, that's what happened. It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was.
Hold it!
What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in? Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say. Don't they, Ringo? They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon. God's will often presents itself as the whim of thieves, does it? It weren't no whim. I'm dead sure of that. It weren't, Nash, it weren't. Like we said at the time. You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that, nah. Nah, there's no two ways about it. It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside. They're not very good liars, they are. Well, you can't deny it. Led to a bloke what looks just like our bruv. I said, cut it out. Those chips are getting a chomping today. But once we got inside, cold blimey loomy, we heard a gunshot from the back room. A gunshot, you say? Just the one. Are you sure about that? Yep, just the one, Governor. I can swear to that. It was Nash, it was. That's it, right, bruv? Firearm use belonged to the victim himself. Yes, Mr. Windybanks always used to leave his gun laying around on the counter. Right, I remember. When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds. That makes sense. Mr. Windybank always used to say he only kept a single bullet loaded. That's true. I remember him saying that as well. So we can say with considerable certainty that only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon. Yes, my lord, we can. And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps drawing would help. Including the shop's entrance from the street, there is only one other door, and that of the storeroom. Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning, not much to see by. And the door was in behind a curtain and all. That's right. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by the curtain. The lamp was broken, wasn't it? Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door? Any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I would think. Oh, well, your turn to rabbit, Ringo. Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose you'd have say we aren't normal. Broadly speaking, humans respond in one or two ways: hearing a gunshot or scream. Timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. These gentlemen are of the later inclination. My learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former. Alright, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night. Thank you, counsels. So I believed we all understand that the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses. We never do nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet.
Hold
You didn't do or take anything. Is that your story? Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of my Lucy lockets. So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left, nice and quietly, you say. That's right, Governor. Nothing we ain't more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out, me Lucy lockets. So you'd clearly like us to believe. Huh? Come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? Ah! Blimey, Governor. You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway? It was? Why the bleeding, Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and you fled the scene. You fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Herlock Sholmes. They shot the great Mr. Sholmes? I didn't hear that, actually. There was a rumor he'd been rushed to a hospital. The great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the policeman within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenances rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. Now, my learned Nipponese friend, it's a big theory, big jump. It's probably not right. I wonder if Gina had shot the gun at the door. We never saw any evidence of a bullet, so that's probably not true at all. Usually they're a lot more complicated. Gina could have shot out, accidentally hit Sholmes, and they could have shot the other way and have hit Windybanks. Is a possibility, but I don't think that's gonna be right. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yes? Here's to you successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are the telltale signs of a spent powder on this gun and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial. Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there. However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windybanks that night? The court demands that all claims are affirmed with a clear proof. But evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker's shop that night. Oh no. So there's an ammunition still loaded in 5 of his revolver's 6 cylinders. Yes, which tells us that only a single shot had been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it? Yes, it happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windybank's door. I'll make those brothers pay. Nope, nope. This is Mr. Windybank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Mr. Windybanks always used to keep his gun on hand on his shop counter. Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded, I understand. That's right, to keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe. But this one bullet was fired that night and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the articles safe? I don't know. Is the problem. Reporting party. That's my name. When's it? That be that? We're gonna try it. The evidence is this. You perplex me, counsel, by looking so pleased with yourself despite this quite displeasing answer. Ah. No. My learned friend has a knack for it, my lord. Seems presenting nothing as though it were something as a favorite trick of the Nipponese conjurer. Ow! Well, I think it takes certain genius to give such a completely wrong answer, personally. The kind of genius I could really do without. Time to think again. Okay. Well, I thought maybe because it had my name, it proved I was there. But no. Unloaded a firearm. There's another. Is this like a third bullet, or because it didn't? Oh. Let's go with the blood samples. I'm probably wrong, but we're gonna try it. The evidence is in this portfolio. What on earth do you have there, counsel? During the course of our investigation, we discovered a number of blood stains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do, however arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in the portfolio. And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein. Yes, my lord. No more dallying, then counsel, present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves that these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? Not that one. Not that one. This one.
Take that!
What is that? Explain. It's a photographic print taken at Windybank's pawnbroking on the day of the incident. From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged in there. Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windybank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight. But this indicates that the separate shot had been fired somewhere after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes that this credible evidence that the witness did fire a round from the gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Ah! That's a third bullet hole, though. There's Sholmes, Windybank, and now that one. Who shot the third bullet? Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zieks? He's thinking on this one. Let's go throw it. If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? Yep, there he goes. Throw it. But you'll forgive me for flinging my hollowed chalice aside and discuss the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, the brothers entered the pawnbroker illegally. And like the bold baddies they claimed to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back to the street. Take it easy there, Governor. We're gonna land us in the soup. We ain't a deal. We had a deal. We weren't gonna get in them details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the book straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zieks knew their testimony was almost certainly exposed the extent of the crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nibonese friends a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zieks? As has been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly those witnesses could not be accused of fatally shooting at the proprietor and victim. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Windsor Windibanks at all. So that's it. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's what I reckon. Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget, attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellas? We're in for it now, bruv. Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It seemed like the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appeared to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machineries. Eccentric? Who says who? Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Oh! That's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. What is that, Counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it's indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he'd be caught red-handed. The prosecution had obtained the photographs taken by the device in question. 30. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are two such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plan of the premises, their prospective positions are here and here. You say these cameras produce a print every half hour. Afraid I failed to see how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on the camera. Haha, that's a bit of fair tucking, bro. Lady Luck loves a skulking. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? Must have been just after 1, right, bruv? Must have been Nash, must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let's examine the evidence. It's the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop's counter. No doubt, coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. I'm sorry, I will say, if I ever say some of these words wrong, I'm not always the best in my tongue. It does get a little tight as time goes on. but we'll do our best. Quiet! One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence. If you please, counsel. Ugh. I don't believe it. Ginny. In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Windybank. Ah! I say, my lord. Wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a badly bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maywand, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on the battle after retirement, you see, the battle of the daily life, if you like. Here I am now, leading the small squadron, 6 men all good and true. And we'll all go down together, you mark my words, one for all and all for one. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what they are to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In the manner of speaking, yes. This is the Gyarados squadron's position, sir. What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here. That's report to the court, man, on the double. His lordship insists on promptuity at all times, and that goes for making decisions, too. I think you'll find the truth clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember. Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth now undeniable. Stop. I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in the matter. Announce or consider verdicts to the court.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
It does indeed appear the jury is unanimous in its leaning already. A photograph must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned. But Ginny didn't shoot him. No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right for a summonation examination. Very well, the court grants permission. So, he refused to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. Hey, it's always worked for me so far, sir. We shall proceed immediately into the summonation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. All the evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketian. As a housemaid, I should like to see how filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in the stereo, truth will just pop out. If I have left it in there, I should think there will be repercussions by now. Mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmission of a verdict to follow. Stop. In Motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. Circumstances of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively. The storeroom locked from the inside, in which the victims and the accused were discovered alone. And in the accused's hands, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses. Not to mention this print. Take it from the chap who's seen action on the battlefield. Young girl's on the verge of pulling the bullet trigger. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, Hurley's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder. I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybanks. Which means there's more to the situation than we've yet to see. Agreed. You have the floor, Counsel. Proceed with the Summonation Examination. All of it clearly points the finger at the guilty of this young pickpocketian. You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Gyarados, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this. And you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your home, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously. I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything. Can't be denied, I suppose. The curse of the Gyarados house was the talk of the town after that business. The lodgers moved out and I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tenancies. Oh. Haven't had the heart to break the news to Jonah yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Yes, can't be denied. You do rather a lot, but not for us. That's for dash certain. I suppose not. Of course. There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously. Obviously, but honestly, I really wish he'd pay more attention to the trial, unless to juror number 2. As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy ice scores promptly and rigorously eliminated. Polishing the bench, I see. Again. A maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pickpurses, and crossmen, scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes? That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rent's magazines in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes, a maid? It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective. Minor detail, it was the 2 brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Holmes, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, this just might be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes, alright. I shall amend my statement. Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shooting the great detective. I agree with you. The shooting of Mr. Sholmes was an unforgivable act. But the purpose of this trial is to determine who shot the pawnbroker, Mr. Windybanks. I'm afraid you're splitting hairs, sir. Sorry. Whether it was thieves or the pick purse, it was still gutter trash that shot the pawnbroker in the end. Filth that should be cleaned up and eradicated, in my considered opinion. Thanks so much for sharing. Changing this maid's mind isn't going to be easy. Bruno, it was one of those 2 brothers that shot Hurley, wasn't it? Yes, without question. Well then, I'll never forgive them. Oh, Iris. Perhaps we can use this maid's statement to help us somehow, do you think? Yes, maybe. Let's listen carefully to what each juror has to say first. I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in the stereo, the truth will just pop out. What do you mean? Look at the photograph in stereo. Sorry? What? Don't you know? If you look at the photograph pretty normally, it looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection.
But there's no indication that the defendant ever fired the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information. By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes? Oh, how did you know? Let's call it a lucky guess. I never consoled seeing the two prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary, it's captivating. It's the height of modernity. Of course. Oh yes, I think you'll find the stereoscope in here to stay. It's here to stay. Give us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world's ever seen. Only I could give them a new perspective on this case. I might agree with you.
Hold it.
What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere or something like that. So sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. A surgeon? That totally passed me by. Of course, people conduct surgeries in the country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me and my kind are at the forefront of the medical science, the real brains in the field. So what is it that you think you've left behind? Well, that's a little embarrassing, to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday, standard thing, went in through the abdomen. But when I finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere. What? Did he surely not? Exactly, surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I didn't. And so, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really. That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's exactly my concern, and seeing as this case appears to be all sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you could be without being sure, I'm sure you need to be more sure. He's not even present. Okay. Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. Alchemy exchange of the Far East nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. But now we have the electronic telegram, so we can send messages using electronic signals. Thousands of miles of cable have been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world. Thousands of miles of cable? On the ocean bed? Makes my head hurt just thinking about it. You're well informed, young lady. Hee. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. And just when it was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Message carried by over airwaves to four corners of the globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmospheric electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. People say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What utter biffle. Do I need to pit her and the other guy against each other? I can't understand it. Really can't. They're just silly toys. Don't spare any feelings, will you? It's not like there's anyone out here who likes stereoscopes. Uh-oh. The other guy reacted. So exactly do you think the defendant is guilty? It's quite simple. We haven't been shown a scrap of evidence to suggest that she isn't the culprit. Just as the radio wave dashed through the skies faster than the eyes can see, so now we can dash the conclusion to the strata and stop pandering to indecision. Okay, we'll talk to him, but then he reacted when she was talking. In Motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I'm convinced brothers are innocent. Oh, I didn't ask his reason. I clicked too fast. That'll be over. But we know that Jenny would never shoot anyone. Yes, so we need to find a contradiction in what these jurors are saying and pit them against each other. Must be ready to go to whatever lengths I have to convince them of Gina's innocence. Okay. We don't want you. Not you. I want to talk to you again. Okay. past some of her stuff. Just gonna get excited here.
Excuse me.
Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but wrong one is 3, not 6. What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me? I think he just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you, huh? Absolutely. I mean, really, a machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions. Why on earth would you not use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that the viewing of a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Well, take a crime scene for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you can view through a stereoscope, that could reveal hidden clues you've never even noticed before. What? Have you gotten any, Runo? Any prints we could look at with the stereoscope? I think so. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. Well, there's 2 here.
Take that.
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me 1 more print and I'll amaze you all. I don't have another one of that one though. Got the cast, but that's not worth. Wait. No. Wrong one. We had in here. No. I don't. It's like my only 2 pictures though.
Take that.
Wait, sorry. What do you mean? 1 more print. Oh dear, oh dear. Don't you have them in the Far East? Don't you know how a stereoscope works? No. What? You need 2 photographs for a stereoscope, remember? 1 for the left one, 1 for the right. Oh yes, I remember now. But the prints we have from the pawnbroker is just a normal photograph. No, I think you'll find that the clue is in the name, in the stereoscope, not in the monoscope. You always need 2 prints. Thanks for the friendly explanation. Well, if we obtain another print at some point later in the trial, we can always show it to this young man then. Aha! I think you'll find that that know-it-all expression is really starting to annoy me. Let's get things back on track, shall we, Council? All we need is another shot from a slightly different location. We can see the scene in 3 dimensions. Okay.
Hold it.
Please tell me that you're not Vile Borsvik, the Russian revolutionary. Revolutionary? I believe there is such a rumor. Just a rumor. As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like vicious criminal. Your words, not mine. Just wanted to point that out. People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat. And which glove fits? Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. Would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts. To be treated like vicious criminal all the time, it is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say we are criminals only because of how we look. The Sulkin brothers? Maybe they went inside pawnbroker's shop. But they have done nothing wrong. That is all that I want to say. The Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night? Alright, well first of all, that's one not so little misunderstanding I need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris. What is it, Runo? The jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of the London town, are they? Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. If I can't change the mind of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over. But we know that Ginny would never shoot anyone. Yes, so we need to find contradictions in what these jurors are saying and pit them against each other. Must be really ready to go whatever lengths I have to convince them of Gina's innocence. Okay, we're gonna pit her against him, I think. These two statements clearly contradict each other. Counsel, explain yourself. Oh my statement contradictory? See, in jury number 6, you got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have the stick. I have mouse. As jury number 2 said earlier, when the Sulkin brothers fled the scene at the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Shums in the abdomen. I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen. A, B, D. Sir. Sorry, my English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear. Forgive me, I did not hear. Ugh. Here is word abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. Is this what you mean? You should say it in plain English. I am Russian, not native speaker. We thought it was a good idea to let this man be on the jury again. So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying? They said before, we never done nothing, but truth is they shot detective? This is double negative. Yes, that's exactly right. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by a person who look like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means, when they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also a big fat lie. Is this true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I just know what no. It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir. I must see with my own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself. I'm afraid that won't be Yes, it is, Runo. Easily. Sorry. With the prints from Harley's red-handed recorder. If you compare the prints that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Gooey, Mr. Prosecutor. Calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summonation examination all times. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and similarly heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later after the brothers' flight. This is busted. This was taken after Hurley was shot then. As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken. That doesn't seem to be the case. I can't notice anything obviously missing in the second print. So, the brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot men, but they stole nothing? It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good. You are right. I did not understand the situation. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it's very important to continue with trial. Yay! Well done, Runo. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. There must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. If I can do that, we might turn the situation to our favor still. Thank you, Counsel. Continue with the Summonation Examination, and kindly hand the new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. Okay, now we have 2 prints. Another print in the record record. I wonder if we can make use of that. In Lake of Lies are many dead fish. Find truth, therefore I will not be, I say not good, guilty verdict. Okay. Yeah.
Hold it!
Can I go ahead and do this now? Can I really show up new clues though? Don't know unless you try. How about this print here? You think it might do the trick? Okay, let's see here.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with 2 suitable photographic prints? Okay, so that one. And then we want this one.
Take that!
Alright, these 2 prints were both taken within the same camera at Windy Banks of the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. Yep. We know this. Yes, exactly. Is that small shift between certain objects in the 2 pictures that really important? So what happens if you use 2 photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that won't work at all. Not for saying the ski. 3-dimensionally anyway. Oh, of course, now I see it. I think the young girl's discovered the secret. I have. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these 2 pictures from Harley's camera, Runo. Go on. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between the 2 of them? Well, this thing, really. Let me see if there's anything else. Of course there is. There's 2 people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the picture in 3 dimension. Alright, I'll give it a go. Cross your eyes and then try to make it 2 pictures overlap exactly. My eyes are not doing it well for actually trying to do it. Wait. Well, did you manage to see it properly, Runo? Not really, but we're gonna go with it. Ah! What's going on with these 2 pictures? Some of the things on the counter sort of jump out at you. Oh, goodness. It's just like... Oh. I'm having a moment, yes. Everyone's staring at it. Yes, yes, yes. That's it. You see it. That's the other amazing power stereoscope. Oh, amazing power. So I'm gonna explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that, huh? I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principles of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope? As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using the stereoscope, it won't work at all. A slight shift in the position of certain objects that lets you see the pictures three-dimensional. In other words, even though the first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, so these items have been moved. This shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their position. I still say about that. Yes, there must have been. Now hold fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp on the whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does the shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master. What? Me? I haven't the first idea. You know, Runo, it's quite simple. It is? Think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then 30 minutes later, second photograph was... Okay, I think we're back. I'm very sorry about that. My internet, like, went out for some reason. I hope I caught that before, we, lost anything, though. I'm hoping we didn't lose anything on that. Oh. My internet has been a little iffy lately for some reason. Hopefully get that figured out here soon. Okay. I'll almost shifting the items on the counter. I'm going to say these guys.
Take that!
Maybe? It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Sulkin brothers. This does not agree with the brother said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrasebook says dukes, it means hands. Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. But this is another lie? Is that what you're saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Now hold on there. You can't be sure of that. I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. Perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely. Why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Windybanks to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrange's intent lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop. Giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have admitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is a pickpocket, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin brothers are the thieves, ma'am. No better, in fact worse, than a pick purse. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair. You said. Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You'll see their extraordinary potential for a hand. I bet. Not the maid. Yep, I was gonna say her. Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after trial. Stop. Will return home via Regent Street. Stop. Well, it would seem this trial is yet to run its course. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. Hereby call the Summonation Examination to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus, and I order this trial to continue. Yay, well done! Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this, Runo. You never know what might come in useful. Twice in one trial should be useful. Unusual, surely, but alright. Alright. Lord Manzeeks, you'll instruct the witnesses and the court demands additional testimonies from them. I'm sure it won't spoil the banquet to do so, my lord. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities at night, at least. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. To be continued. We had computer issues and internet issues like 5 minutes from the end. Really? That's crazy. I'm very sorry all that happened. I'm hoping we've had a little issue with the internet lately. Hopefully we can get it resolved here, figured out. It's just been randomly dropping a little bit at night. So hopefully, at least we're only streaming like 1 day in the week currently. But hopefully we can get this figured out. Thank you everyone who stopped in. Thank you for chatting and everything. We're a machine for jumping in. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you all next week in another episode of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Alright, bye everyone!